Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. This is the DJT, whatever. It's you know who's daily health tarot, and I have allowed for reversals. Plus, I'll do the political and personal astrology after for you guys. So this one is for Friday, April 25th. There. Okay, well, looks like he has some energy in the morning. Oh, because Laura Loomer's visiting him again. If it's not her, because we know it's not Kamala. Kamala's not. She's definitely Queen of Swords, but she ain't no, that's not happening at all. Yeah, she's the only one that I know of right now. Pam Bondi's Scorpio, so she'd be the Queen of Cups. Tulsi Gabbard, Christy Nome, and Alina Habba, they're all fire signs, so they'd be the Queen of Wands. So, yeah. Susie Wiles and that Caroline Levitt, they are Queen of Pentacles because they are earth signs. Yeah, and then all the other ones are men. So unless there's someone I'm missing, you guys clue me in. If there's a woman that you know that he connects with on a regular basis, or because this is the second time this card was over here before. Of course, I am reading on his health, so there's that. Now, this would be for air sign. This would be any Gemini. Oh God, I've got hair in my mouth. Sorry, God. Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. So if you know any women that he hangs out with that are Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, maybe this is there's some more information. So, Four of Wands, maybe he is going to Mar-a-Lago. But I'll read the health in a minute. And then we have the Lovers. Ooh. It's relationship decisions. And then we have the Hierophant reversed. So, whoa, somebody's rebelling. Authority issues with him are not helpful. Okay, so in the morning, I think, this is kind of like, he's got a lot of energy and maybe he wants to go beat someone up because we know he doesn't manage energy well. He has a total mismanagement of power. But on the health level, when it comes to Ace of Wands, it's not bad because it's upright, The Queen of Swords, like I was saying yesterday, this could be, but it's not upright either, or reversed either. But so I'm thinking, maybe, I don't know. It's still a card on the health level of imbalances, and maybe even lower back problems. Yeah. The Four of Wands on the health level. Now, again, this could be Mar-a-Lago. It's going towards the weekend. He usually does go at least to one of his. This could be like home kind of a thing. I doubt he'd be going inside a protected facility like a skiff with Laura Loomer or anyone like that. I really do think it's probably at home. But anywho, on the health level, when it comes to the Four of Wands, it's sometimes a card of your own, well, his, not yours, but his, like a projection of his own self-hatred. And because it's a card of kind of like using others sometimes to, to feel better. It's kind of like what is that when you, like people that drop names all the time because they want to be important, I guess, or they want to say they they know somebody. Now, anybody that's ever shared with me, who they know is always of complete confidence, and I don't have any judgment at all about that. But in his circles, and in the people that he hangs out with, we know that he has that need for superiority and control and all of that, and he likes to use other people to get what he wants. And then with the Lovers card, I mean, this is all about making relationship decisions. So, but on the health level, of course, because Mercury and Gemini, we're talking about the communication, the way we think. And he just thinks transactionally. So, yeah. Now, it's also because Gemini, we're talking the lungs, and we're talking arteries and, fifth chakra. And we know that he doesn't always speak well. I don't know if he is having problems. Maybe he does go to Mar-a-Lago, and then in the evening, I don't think he'd get up and try to sing in front of everybody, but he does. You know what he does? Oh, that's what this is. That's what all of this is. He's got lots of energy. Maybe he meets with Laura Loomer. I think he'll probably go to Mar-a-Lago or Bedminster or one of the other ones, or somewhere where there's a gathering and a celebration. It's some kind of a party kind of a thing. But he does at Mar-a-Lago. He tends to, or I don't even know if it's at Mar-a-Lago. Could have been one of the other golf courses like Doral or yeah. So anyway, he gets up on stage and he gets a microphone and he talks. He goes kind of rogue, right? Because he can. It's his home, and he loves the attention. So that's what all this is. That's what I'm getting here. It's his sick ego that's just got to have, the attention. By the evening, when we have the Hierophant reversed, this has to do with neck problems, throat problems, ears, coordination. There's being challenged, maybe, I wonder. There's that feeling of being stuck in guilt and really a lack of inner authority. So it's all just this facade to cover up his insecurities. Ugh. Yeah, gonna get that out of my throat. Blech. Okay. Here's the astrology for today. There we go. Okay. So, April 25th, 5 a.m. Pacific. Look where the moon is. She made it out of Pisces. So, if you had all those creative projects going on, that's fantastic, because now today it would be raring to go to maybe start on something new, or you've come full circle with spiritual work and getting guidance, and now you have the guidance and you run with it, because the moon's right there on the other side of Neptune early this morning. And no matter what time you wake up, well, actually, I mean, the moon would have made it into Aries just really about an hour ago. So yeah, you'd have to be up pretty early for it to still be in Pisces. But it sure could make for a lot of good dream time guidance as well, with the having the moon go through Pisces. I should have told you that yesterday and I forgot. But anywho, hooking up with Neptune and then crossing over Neptune is even more powerful for guidance and for meditation and dreamtime guidance. So it's very possible that you wake up knowing a direction to go for yourself. And then later on, so it's going to take, let's see, to get 8 degrees, it's going to take all day, most of the day, for the moon to get on the other side of Mercury. But the moon approaching, the approaching energy is always stronger. So the moon approaching Mercury, the moon's going to talk to a planet that's very talkative, and we're going to be in the mood to talk, and we might have to be careful be very, very careful with unconsciously using words that are a little too forceful. We want to be careful about being a little too, over assertive. Now, on another level too, with, after the crossover, because now the moon's on the other side of Neptune, there could be, maybe in dream time you had some guidance come through. Maybe you had like some awful dreams about childhood, about being abandoned, or maybe it was past life information coming up. And so you wake up with that sense of like, being left out. Or maybe you had arguments in dream time because, Mars rules Aries. There's a lot of Aries energy here. Mars is over here in Leo, and Leo wants attention, right? Because Leo we all need, it's a real need to have your creative self-expression. And you don't get that unless it doesn't come easy. You get it by working through it, but it doesn't come easy. If your parents were of the kind that were like, kids are to be seen and not heard, or they didn't encourage you with finding your words, or they didn't ask you how you felt, or they didn't seem to care. Maybe they were neglectful. And most people don't understand this, but neglect is actually a form of abuse. So a lot of us have grown up in homes where we weren't encouraged. We didn't get those real needs to be seen and heard and understood, taken care of. And so we've had to learn about that. The cool thing is that you don't have to really do anything about it. It's just knowing what the real needs are. And primarily they, fall into a few different categories. You could go online and get words that will give you a million different ways of honoring or words that honor the real needs, but primarily they are there. The real needs are love and safety and comfort and connection. Bottom line, connection. And then to be seen and heard and understood. So as adults, if we meet the pain and process it through, like if we meet the pain of not being safe or having comfort or having, not having connection, that's why neglect is a form of abuse. If there's no connection, then we have to meet that pain. And that is precisely how we come back to ourselves. And that's this Chiron in Aries has been teaching us. We've had Chiron in Aries for quite some time, and it was retrograde, and it went direct in December, right before, I know it was right before the new year. And but it doesn't make it out of the retro shade until May 17th. So next month, things are going to get much, much better. But the deal with Chiron in Aries is to know that you belong to yourself. You belong to yourself. And so if you're meeting the pain of being abandoned, you're coming home to yourself by grieving, by going through the grief. If you push yourself past it and you unconsciously move forward without doing your grief work, without doing your healing work, then you work it out in relationships with other people, and that can be very painful because they're going to have their own problems, and you guys are going to be projecting back and forth on each other. But in the long run, it's healing for both parties, and to me, there's no judgment. It's actually no matter how bad I've been hurt, I've always been grateful for the experience to heal. It doesn't mean I would hang out with them anymore, but, there's that. So, but it's all about healing, and it's all about coming back home to who you truly are. And in Aries, with the sign of Aries, it's a lot about just existing, your existence. So you have to be present with yourself. And I'm speaking to all of that because the moon is hitting up Neptune today, talking to Mercury, and then later on, it's going to, not today, but it'll be tomorrow. Actually, it'll be the next day, Saturday and Sunday. We're going to have the moon in Aries for the next 2 days, maybe 2.5 days. Depends about sometimes the moon goes void, of course, and it hangs out a little bit. But it still knows where it's going. It's just not done, right? So I don't pay any attention to the void of course moon and say, I mean, my God, if you if you paid too much attention to the void of course moon, plus Mercury retrograde, plus all the other retrograde planets and blah, 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 you would be in that mindset that the universe is controlling you and you can't do anything until things are perfect. And man, you would miss out on a lot of opportunities, right? Just remember the universe is inside of you and you get to use the energy in a way that works for you. So empower yourself with Pluto. Look how Mars is exactly, well, not within minutes. Okay, so the opposition is a confrontation. Confrontations lead through breakthroughs. The confrontation is about your creative self-expression, your identity, your confidence, your courage, and being recognized, being seen and heard and understood. And then from there, the breakthrough comes to empowering yourself and your networking with friends and your connection with humanity, knowing that we're all interdependent on each other, but we are also our own, separate, unique beings. So yeah, so we're in this on another level too. That's really important to look at the fact that this we still have the sun in the T-square to Pluto and Mars, and then of course Leo. So here's the thing that's interesting. We're only missing one sign that's fixed. So we're in this like fixed holding pattern. Fixed energy is the energy of contraction, where we're holding steady. We're trying to create something stable, something that's really reliable. And so we're in this energy of being like real connected with what we want. And because it's connected to Mars and Pluto, so fixed Taurus wants to be really secure and wants to live in faithfulness to the principles that it believes in. It does not like being rushed. It does not like being pushed around. And that is bumping up against Mars, that in Leo, within Leo, again, it's all about our self-expression, our creative self-expression, and who we are in our own personal identity. And we love other people who are showing up in who they are, because it's a party. It's a party when everyone is who they truly are, and they're not hiding, but they're also giving space for everyone else to be who they are. That is a real experience. It's like hanging out with kids who are just, they're just doing their thing. They're just being themselves, and you love it because they're so funny. They're usually fun to watch and blissed out and all of that. Playful and creative. Those are all traits of Leo and Cancer too. So we have that energy, and then on the other side with Aquarius, it helps to, there's this divine intelligence with both polarities there, right? Because we're in this human realm of heart, and then up against the other side, or having the mirror, this could be the mirror of loving someone who's generously sharing their heart. And then we make real connections, because Aquarius can definitely bring through those real connections. Now, in politics, when they're using the energy just to literally use each other or gang up together and work out ways to use us, then it gets really bad. That's when things are terrible. So this is what we've been dealing with. So back in November 3rd of last year was the first hit we had with Mars opposing Pluto. And then we had a second hit January 3rd, so literally just 60 days later. And this is the last hit. So we can expect that we're hearkening back to a time, and that because this is the third phase. Because remember when Mars went retrograde, and I think it was December. Yeah, that's right. It was December 6th of 2024, because it was at 6 degrees of Leo then. And then it went all the way back to 17 degrees of Cancer, and then it went direct, so it's working its way through. And it won't be until May 2nd that we're out of the retro shade of Mars retrograde. Okay? So we don't have that much longer, just about another week. But by then, we're going to have come full circle. And hopefully, I'm hoping that there's some new information that comes out that that proves that Kamala won, because we know she did. I mean, I've read on it so many times, and I know for sure that she did. And Greg Palast with Vigilantes Inc., he can prove it. Jessica Denson on her YouTube channel has had him on, as well as what's the guy's name? Nathan, I think, from Dire Talks. There's a few different people that she's had on. If you watch all of hers, her live streams, it's quite phenomenal. And what irks me is that the proof is there, but I think what happened back November 3rd, I think before November 3rd, there was a plan in place that, with Elon and other organizations that helped him. And even just like you think about our both chambers of Congress, how they work by being lobbied, right? It's like, it's awful because they allow these lobbyists to give them money, and then because of the money they've gotten, the bribery, basically, the bribe that they have taken, they don't pursue cases because they are they're legislators. They're all attorneys, and they're meant to make laws, and it should be laws that protect us, because that's their job, because our taxpayers pay for them. But then again, they get greedy, and so they have all this insider trading with the stock market, and they also have, like I said, all the lobbying. So that's why, Big Pharma gets to screw us over. That's why oil companies get to ruin the environment. That's why, oh God, I mean, I could just go on, but I'll be here forever. But it's dark. It's really dark. And that is part and parcel of, the problems with elections. Elections are big, big money. And now with the power of the people, like we really do have to initiate. The way we can use this energy is to use it effectively would be to use our courage and fight against the darkness of the government that thinks that they're smarter than we are and they're above us. So I don't know how the hell they sleep at night. They probably get a lot of drugs from that pharmacy, I guess it's in Washington, D.C. somewhere. But anyway, we could be innovative. We could reinvent ourselves. We could fight for equality. These would be all, Aquarius traits. We could fight against people who are putting themselves in a position of, we could rebel and fight against these people who are there to hurt us. RFK Jr. and Health and Human Services, what a joke. Kristi Noem, Homeland Security, where she just gets her bag stolen. And, I don't know. Maybe it was a stupid drop and swap thing. I don't know. It's too stupid for me to even read on again. I'm not going there. But for her to be in charge of Homeland Security, and after she shoots her dog, what? This is Kash Patel in charge of the FBI when he's literally Trump's hitman. Like, these people, they have no business. Hegseth in the Department of Defense? in charge of, like the top position in the Pentagon? What in the world? It's unbelievable. So there's that. That's our opposition there. And all of this started before the election. And, what happened on November 5th, and then 4 hours later, they're calling it that Trump won. He didn't win. He did not win. So anyway, the last hit of this, okay, the exact, when it comes to exactitude, I don't think that's a word, but I'm saying it, it happens on Saturday at 6:05 p.m. So that's right around the corner. Yeah. But again, I'll just say this is this fixed holding pattern, right? Again, it's all about our security, our faithfulness to our own principles, our having the courage to stand up against people who are abusing our power. And from there, we can create safety. We can create, our creative self-expression can grow. And we can protect our children that are growing up. And humanity can be in a much better place because Pluto, in essence, in Aquarius, is all about the power of people coming together. We just have to remember that we do have the power. We can't go small and we can't go, oh, when are they going to do it? Well, no, it's when are we going to stand up and fight? And so many are. We already are. So we just have to keep on keeping on. Because again, you're going to go down on some hill at some point. It might as well be something for yourself rather than for someone else. So this, Mars here can really mobilize protests, whether with words or both, actions. And then again, remember, the new moon's coming in on Sunday at 12:31 p.m., so just a little after noon, Sunday the 27th, and it'll be at 7 degrees. So between now and Sunday, the moon's in Aries. It's about fighting. It's aligned with, Mars rules Aries. So we're talking about fighting. We're talking about pushing forward. We're talking about movement forward for the things that we want. And then by Sunday, the moon will be over here. The sun will be at 7 degrees, and the moon will be right there at 7 degrees as well. And so now is the best time to set your intentions about what you want to manifest. And just know that the new moon, well, right now, it's we have building modes here with aspect of the architect. We also have the other aspect of the architect here. So there's a lot of power that the universe is giving us to lay a new foundation of this, fixed energy to fight against the abuses of power. Sometimes it's not the way we want. Sometimes, well, that's not true, because we all have free will. Anytime we want, we can, do what we want, usually, as adults. But there's always a consequence to pay. So this consequence of not doing anything would just be to put ourselves back in that victim mentality and, let someone else take care of it. I can't do that. We can all pray. We can all use our words. We can all, even if we can't speak, we can all somehow communicate, right, with each other. And we can fight against being taken over by Russia. We can fight against Mike Johnson, because he can be taken out with a vote of no confidence at some point. We can fight against the tech firms who are profiting by surveilling us. Right? There's all kinds of things that we could do. So that's pretty much it. I don't think I have any. Oh, actually I do. See the in conjunct here at 25 degrees, hitting up Eris over to the south node. So today, so on the 25th on Friday, it's very possible that there's some new information, or it's old information actually, but that leaks out, and it has to do with things that can help women in their struggle for equality. There could be something that comes out that instigates a bunch of us to stand up and say, you know what, I've just had it. I've had it with this crap, And maybe we file a petition, or maybe we write to our, well, we could all do that. Hopefully a lot of women will be energized to start writing every day to our senators and reps and tell them what we want. Right? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that Roe v. Wade was overturned. That is just utterly ridiculous. So, okay, well, that's all I have for today. Take good care. I'll be back soon. Bye.